Hi guys, welcome to How to Build Your Own Rome. This is episode 10, and today we're going to talk about Nick Vujicic, who was born with no arms and legs. And we did know the proper name for that, but we can't pronounce it. So we were concentrating on the name, weren't we, Mark?
Well, the name's hard enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this guy actually is not only an inspiration to millions, but he is a reason success 4 exists.
Exactly. Now, tell us about that, because that was what I was sort of telling Danny earlier on. That's the reason why you started this in the first place, wasn't it?
Yeah, so what really got me into back into self-development more than just coaching and teaching and that sort of thing was through my daughter, who I remember showing her one of Nick's videos that he'd done. Early days, he used to do a lot of talks in high schools and things like that,
Sure,
and showing her one of his videos, and she loved it, and I've started watching a lot of his stuff, and then started watching. You know, as with YouTube, when you watch a video, other ones get recommended, and there was somebody else came up, a young lad called Caleb Maddox from America, and there was a thing about he was going to do an event in London, so Katie wanted to go and meet him, so we did, and and that's really it was sort of snowballed from there. Really
amazing. How many years ago was that now?
It was only a couple of years ago.
It's come on a long way. So,
A
what
lot's
was the
changed.
original reason why you were watching that video? Was it something that just popped on the timeline, or were you looking into that sort of thing?
No, I think it's a video that I'd seen before, and there was a lot in it that's I think it's some of his early talks he'd done in schools. I think every 12, 13-year-old kid should watch.
Yeah.
He's got some amazing talks online, and I think actually if we find the links, we can put some links with this video, because amazing guy. Really just prime example of somebody that's taken something that a lot of people could have just sat back and just said, my life's shit.
Yeah.
You know, and he hasn't at all. He's just taken it, and he has just he embraced it, inspired with it, and just done amazing things.
So it's funny, isn't it? Because that inspired you to start this, but I know that if I've not watched the episodes before, but Mark was bitten by a horsefly and you were paralysed for a little while, and for a little while, it sounds like just for a little while, just for a laugh. And but that was that around about the same time that you started to look into these things? Because I'm digging in. I just want to wonder why you were actually looking for something.
I think this was much earlier than that.
Okay.
Yeah, when we were looking at this, that was quite a bit earlier. It was probably the event we went to was a couple of years ago now. But this is probably a couple of years before that.
Okay.
So I tried being paralysed for a little while. Just thought,
I did do for you.
Could try that.
Yeah.
Didn't like it much.
No.
Made a right arse going on holiday. So, gave up on that one.
Yeah.
Just joking aside, just things evolve, and you never know what journey you're going to take, what route you're going to take later in life. Yeah. And it's just funny how we started. This is what really sort of started and got my daughter and I talking about. Not just self-development, it's sort of such a generic word for it, isn't it? But certainly, I suppose really from that point of view, that was more about motivational videos online that, I showed her that, and from that she watched others, and, and it sort of grew from there. And then probably 4 years later, we're sitting here talking about the guy and admiring him.
It's been an amazing thing that we started this, I think it's about 18 months ago now. And to see where it's come to and stuff. We've put up the sign for our other joint venture today, for Concept 7, and it's evolving, which is quite amazing, really, how it's evolving. But it all started with watching this guy's videos, which is even more amazing. So 18 months on. So we usually look through the different ways and sort of motivate themselves to build their own Rome. So the concept is that he's built a business around his disability, in a sense. He's used his cards he's been given, and he's used that to his own advantage. How is that sort of essential to how to start a business? Is that something that a lot of people do?
I don't know if the business side really even comes into it. I don't know if that's relevant, because it's what pays him to go around and do what he does. And obviously he gets paid a lot of money to do what he does because of the power of his story. Yeah. But I think his story is far more based not really on. It's not just about the disability he was born with. It's also what he's been subjected to over that over time growing up and things as well, because he's on about bullying at school, he's on about different things, watching your mates go off and do and you can't do, and all this sort of stuff, and the strain it puts on family, and there's so many different parts to it that you just wouldn't think of. It's not just the disability, but being born with a disability. And he's not the only person that's ever had this.
Of course,
I'm afraid to say there's lots of people out there in the same situation. It really is just, for me, it's how he's dealt with it. And he's taken it, and he's really still tries everything. There's his swimming, his skiing, his playing football. He's doing so much that even 100% able-bodied kids nowadays don't get off their asses and go and do, and that's the sad thing about it. And he's out there making the most of everything he can possibly try and do and achieve.
So he's basically making the most of the situation he's been given. Also, that's kind of a really good inspiration and motivation for other people to go out and start projects. If he can do it,
start something.
Do something.
Do something. The world can't revolve around podcasts, YouTube videos, and it just can't. And at the moment, that seems to be what everyone wants to do: sit and watch YouTube videos all day. And things like that. It's just,
it surprised me, like how people start businesses and they make YouTube videos and that's it. It's almost like it's not part of it. It's like doing an advert for a business. I haven't got a business. I'm doing an advert for a business. That is my business. It's bizarre. It's like you're not selling it. There's nothing off the back of it, and that was what kind of that's confusing.
Well, I think that's being the slightly older generation as well. You sort of look back and sort of think, well, it's not a business. How's that a business? There's no backbone to it. There's no where's the stock? Where's the you've got. And to be fair, as YouTube have proved, they change one thing and
it
all falls apart. There's people out there that were earning lots of money who suddenly found themselves couldn't get anybody to watch their videos. And Facebook done the same recently with the business pages and made it very hard to get to be seen. And I think that's it's just another thing that.
It's like a learning
how times change, isn't it?
It's a learning curve. So some of his, usually go through their motivational sort of, like, not talks, but their motivational sayings. And one of his is, some injuries heal more quickly if you keep moving. And we like this one because, to me, that's kind of like, that's very positive, get off your arse and do something. So what does that mean to you? Some injuries heal more quickly if you keep moving.
Basically, I think very much that, moving forward, you can dwell on the moment, you can, and this is, I think what he's saying, you can sit there and dwell on the fact that you've got no arms, no legs, you can't do this, you can't do that. It'd be really easy for this guy to get, if that was somebody who really just wanted to play the system, it'd be really easy to get 24-hour care, get given a house, get given a mobility car and a mobility a wheelchair and all that sort of stuff, and just basically do nothing. Just get paid by the government and just live on the state, and it'd be so easy to do. And for a lot of people that are in that situation that haven't had the opportunities that he's had as well, there's probably a lot of people out there doing that because they've had no other option. And whereas he's just more just laughed at it. Everything that's come along and made it, it's just taken it on as a challenge. He hasn't, and so to be able to, healing an injury is, I suppose, that thing like running it off, isn't it? It's you can sit there and moan about your leg hurting, or you can just run until it stops hurting.
Footballers do and roll around on the floor for 45 minutes.
That's it.
Do that. The thing is, he started there is I believe he's accepted his situation. He's accepted it and gone, because you spend your whole life fighting a given. How important is that to accept where you are and what you've been given in life and your cards before you can even start to do anything and feel positive about anything?
It's so important, and I think he accepted it at an early age and has been able to move forward, and along the way has been able to influence so many people, which is the amazing part of it. But I think for anybody who's anything you want to do in life, the first thing you need to do is be honest with yourself about where you are at the moment. Be honest. If you're on drugs, admit the fact you're on drugs,
yeah.
if you're an alcoholic, if
Yeah,
you're, you know, if you hate your job, if you're in a relationship where you're not valued, if you, all these different things, rather than just putting up with it and just going and, you know, Groundhog Day, just do it every day anyway. Just accept it, admit it, and move forward from it.
From there, yeah. It's really hard to accept something you really don't want to be true in life.
Yeah.
And that is the strength. That's the strength part, isn't it? And almost retraining yourself to go, because you can delude yourself for your whole life, except like,
of course,
it's just like trying to sort of distract yourself for your whole life. And he could have done that. He could have kind of almost, I don't know. He could have just sort of refused to accept it. But I think you've got to accept it before you can even do anything with it, except the hands that you, except the cards that you've been given. Yeah,
that's it.
So that one I really, really liked. I really liked the keep on moving part, but I like the fact that he's accepted his situation really early on, and that's what's allowed him to move forward. What other ones we've got? If you can't make a miracle, become one.
Lovely.
So what does that mean to you, Mark?
I don't think you can make, and it depends what your sense of the word you're saying, a miracle.
Yeah. If you can't get a miracle, sorry, I've read that wrong.
Yeah. You can't. I mean, he is just a prime example of a miracle. Is that the word? Is that the word I would use? Probably not. But it's a prime example of somebody that's taken everything that could be bad, everything I would consider now. Yeah. If that happened to me now, would be life ending, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What is that guy that got some sort of disease where he had to get his arms and legs amputated and even his lips? I don't know if you've seen that. It's been on Facebook quite a lot lately, but it's also he's been the last couple of years been on like Good Morning TV and stuff like that, and he was absolutely able-bodied for most of his life.
And for most people, that would. I mean, talk about life changing. Yeah. That's and I don't know. Is that harder? Is that harder than, you know, being born a miracle?
That's a good point. I would probably, I don't know, naturally, instinctively, I want to say, yeah, it must be harder because had it and taken it away, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and I suppose this really goes back to what we were talking about when I was had my brief paralysation. The thoughts that go through your head, you sort of and you do. It's very hard, even for that short amount of time. It's very hard to be positive in any way because you're constantly what's it going to stop me from doing? Yeah. Not what's it, you know, because you can't physically think of anything that is positive about this situation, you know, because it's you know, life-changing situations are like that. Whereas, you know, so I think maybe being born in this way and growing up like that, you would have a completely different point of view to somebody who's, you know, unfortunately gone through, like you say, someone that's gone through and had to have it done, you know, amputees and things later on in life. So.
It's a scary thing to think about.
It is. I can only remember. So I can only remember when it happened to me. I literally laid in bed one night and I just lost the use of everything from sort of chest down, really. And I can just how scary it was, how just all the things that go through your head, and you just, like I say, you know, I don't think if that had continued, I think that would have been a long, long time before I could have found anything positive about it at all.
You're a very active person as well. You're actively always doing something physically out, doing something labour-like, building something, making something. You like to be here and there and busy. So that, especially for someone like yourself, would have been... Do you feel like you've changed as a person because of that? Do you think like maybe if you carried on the way you were before, you might have...
It's completely changed my outlook on work, money, and that sort of thing. I was privileged enough at one point where we had a nice house, we had several cars, we had and I'd worked very hard to get that.
Yeah, you had, yeah.
But I didn't have any spare hours in the day to enjoy any of it. Yeah. The family were at home enjoying it. What they weren't enjoying was the fact that I was never there.
Of course.
Yeah. And I think that really just brought all that back into line. Yeah. And I think occasionally in life you do need these good kick up the arse to...
Do you think if it didn't happen, like it would have caused other issues in your life.
Oh, definitely.
When you got on like heart problems, relationship problems, you'd feel like it would have.
Definitely both. Because I mean, health. I think family side. There are benefits, and I can honestly say that I think the benefits also. I mean, Success 4 is growing out of it. Concept 7's growing out of it. Everything we're doing here, everything my daughter's doing with the schools. All of that sort of stuff has come off the back of it because I needed that kick up the backside to bring things back into line.
To see you on, was it Tuesday? We were in the schools with Jermaine Harris, and just to see you watching Katie, that wouldn't have happened before. How amazing is that?
Absolutely amazing.
And she was amazing, wasn't
she? Kate's got some really. She's got skills that not many say. I know it's my daughter, so I probably sound really biased, but she's got. I see her in her athletics. I see her and she just tries so hard. I see her in everything she's doing, her schoolwork, and she just tries so hard, and a lot of it she makes look so easy, and that's a skill in itself as well. I'm so very proud of her and and certainly what she done like on Tuesday. To stand up. Might only be a school of 17
years old though.
It might only be a school of sort of I don't know how many were there. I mean, sort of 30 or 40 or something. But for most 17-year-old girls to stand up and put on a show to entertain 30 or 40 kids for a couple of hours is and trying to make talking about high schools and exams interesting and 1 minute doing that and then dancing with them and playing silly games and that sort of stuff. It's just really good to see, and that's what she wants to do. So and all of that has grown off the back of this guy. So in a way, he is a miracle. Because it's I think he will. Continue to get people like Katie to see that there's other options. By the million, you know. So,
and the miracle of it is the effect he's having on people like Katie.
Oh, definitely.
It's incredible. And to be there and watch her at 17 years old, and even in the last couple of years since we've been doing this, she's always older when I see her. Does that make sense? We're doing a quick one before we go. Don't put your life on hold so that you can dwell on the unfairness of past hurts. I think that's probably the one we just covered.
Yeah, we still covered that in the other one, haven't we?
Some injuries, keep moving if you keep... having faith, beliefs and convictions is a great thing, but your life is measured by your actions you take based upon them. So, it's basically what you do, not what you say and believe. We've seen a lot of that in the last couple of years, of a lot of belief and say, but not a lot of do.
Completely opposite way around.
And then the confusion of whether they've actually done something, the image. So to you, thinking and believing things that you believed after you had that incident with the horsefly, your actions have changed. How do you see your actual relationships with people change, and your actions to people, how you relate to people?
Good and bad. Things do change because you do get to a point where you sort of, one of the things I realise is the amount of people who take the piss, for want of a better word, and I let them because I haven't got time to maybe deal with it myself. So, and you sort of, I suppose you wake up to that. You wake up. I suppose a different way of putting it is your eyes are open to how people reflect in your life, good or bad. You're just far more aware of what's going on around you. I think and since then I've become far more present. I've become far more aware and far more willing to make changes that need to be made. So
there's a lot of positives actually have come out of all of these situations.
Tons of positives have come out of it, and I think there's lots of people who go in, have an unfortunate bit accident, bit whatever, and there's normally a positive come out of it.
Do you see that positives come in retrospect? They don't come straight away, like you were saying earlier. No way. It's taken you a long time
to see a positive from it. But now looking back, I can see that that's actually probably the best thing that happened.
At the time, it was the worst thing.
At the time, it was scary as hell. It was, I literally wouldn't have been able to think of one positive thing. But now looking back, I can name many. So it's definitely a lesson.
Definitely a lesson. So guys, This has been How to Build Your Own Rome with Nick Vujicic.
Vujicic.
Remembered it. Go check out his work because it's incredible. You get a lot of his videos on YouTube. He's an incredible speaker, and he's the reason why we started Success4 and Katie and Mark started Success4 in the first place. Check out all our work at success4.com. We are Success4 Global on all social media networks, and we shall see you next week. This has been How to Build Your Own Rome.
Perfect.